What's up, everybody? It's John Morgan. Listen, I want to just say thank y'all to everybody who has been supporting this podcast. I cannot grow this without the support of the community who allows me to grow. So thank y'all to everybody who's been supporting, everybody who's been sharing it, everybody who is a subscriber on YouTube, everybody who has purchased merch from me, everybody who just tells somebody, through telling somebody in conversation, who shared these podcasts in your group text. Thank y'all. I cannot do this without you guys, so thank you for that. Right now, we want to ask for a specific type of support right now. If you can, stop what you're doing. Yes, you right now. Stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing right now. Go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Become a subscriber to this page, the Live Your Purpose Podcast YouTube channel. Become a subscriber. Like, share, tell somebody about it. But stop what you're doing right now. Go to your YouTube page and become a subscriber. Click it. Click subscribe on the YouTube page and become a subscriber of this page. It allows us to grow, and it allows us to touch different reach for different people. So please, if you call yourself a supporter, if you want to continue to see us grow and continue to see us build, stop what you're doing right now. Go to YouTube. Click that subscribe button. Like, thumbs up, all of that. Please, right now, Live Your Purpose Podcast. Peace. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Live Your Purpose Podcast. I'm your host, John Morgan Jr. Thank y'all. I say thank you so much on here. It sounds, it's a little annoying to me sometimes how much I'm thanking everybody, but I'm genuine about that. I'm thankful for all the support, digesting the content, the audio, the video, people who supporting the merch. I am very much, thankful and grateful for all of the genuine support. And that's the thing about it, man. It's genuine support. You know what I'm saying? For the most part about it, everybody who gives me feedback, everybody who taps in with me, it always feels genuine. You know what I'm saying? So that lets me know that we are doing something good, and, we're doing something powerful as a collective. And, I'm grateful for that. Before we get into our, to who our guest is, again, man, if you can, right this second, go to your YouTube page. Like and subscribe. Be a subscriber to the YouTube page, Live Your Purpose Podcast. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Also, go to our website, www.lypp.org, to be able to go ahead and support and donate and purchase the merch. Please go ahead and do that. We're going to have some new stuff available here very, very shortly. I know y'all been on my neck about these hoodies and all this stuff. I got y'all. I promise. We coming real soon. Right? Matter of fact, by the time this episode comes out, the hoodies is going to be in full swing of things. So please go to the website. Support. I very much appreciate that. I'll never take that for granted. Man, the purpose of LYP, first and foremost, man, LYP is a brand in itself. It's not only a podcast. It is a mantra that I genuinely live by. You know what I'm saying? It's something that I do the work on. You know what I'm saying? And for me, living your purpose is all about, being intentional about looking within and, doing the work to live your true, authentic selves. A lot of times, man, in my experience, we as people tend to know who we are. But when you have outside influences come in, it sometimes plays tricks on your mind. You're not able to really, be your true self. I know for me, it was a process in doing that. I always felt like I knew who I was, but at the same time, and just growing and learning myself, there was a lot of times where I knew that I was acting outside of myself, and I wanted to, do a better job of being true to who I was, but also being able to do that in a way that it would allow me to help people, because that's what I feel like our goal here as humans really should be able to, which is to help, each other and inspire one another. And I know for me personally, in this podcast journey, I have had tremendous support, all across the board. I've had wonderful support from my team. We going on almost 2.5 years of just like shooting and recording this podcast. And for the most part, my team has it's weird because we stayed the same, but at the same time we've changed a lot. And I know that there's no way that we can continue to grow and evolve, and there's no way that I will be able to get the genuine, responses that I mentioned earlier without the support of the team members that I have working behind the scenes. A lot of people who y'all don't even really get a chance to see, who are helping me, giving me tips on how to make this thing better, how to make the visual experience better, how to make the audio experience much better, and just overall aesthetically, just making it more pleasing to the viewers, making it, more receptive for, for y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. And these, a lot of times I'm getting information from people who do this for a living. One of the things that I learned a long time ago, which was a wise man empowers other people, around him to be themselves. When you have people around you who do something much better than you, get the hell out the way and let those people be themselves. And these next guests that I have, we got 2 guests. You know what I'm saying? I think this might be like the second time we ever had 2 guests at a time. You know what I'm saying? So this is gonna be an interesting episode. The next 2 guys that I have, man, these guys are integral parts of the LYP team. I got Mr. Darrell Davis and Mr. Gabriel Black. Darrell is my audio guy. He is a boy genius, man. We're going to get in. I can't wait for y'all to really hear, how this guy mind operates. I'm telling you, this guy says shit all the time like, bro, you don't understand what you just said. That's not normal stuff to just say. And my man Gabriel Black, man, visually, man, he's just one of them dudes who just gets it. I remember the first conversation that we had, and we kind of laid out what we kind of expected from one another. And we just had a real good conversation just about, of course, about the work, but about one another. And I knew from there, that it was going to be something that we can continue to build off of. And his skill set in this editing, in this visual space, man, this dude this guy is different. He told me a long time ago, he said, bro, if I could have it my way, I would just edit all the time. I wouldn't do nothing else. I wouldn't shoot. I wouldn't record. I would just edit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't understand it, but after working with him for some time, I completely understand, why he would want to do that, because he has a true gift and a true talent at being able to do that. So, without further ado, fellas, what's good?
Hey, man.
How y'all doing, man?
Hey, great, bro.
Chilling.
Great.
Y'all cool?
Chilling.
So, it's interesting, man, because y'all used to being behind the camera. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Have y'all ever been in front of the camera in this way at all?
No.
I did. I used to have a group. Me and my friends had this group called Black Heart Collective, and we were trying to, in the middle of the YouTube phase where everybody was making skits and all that. We was all trying to do that. So we did that. We were in front and behind the camera, and so. But that was like back in like 2015, 16.
Oh yeah. So it's been a minute.
It's been a little.
Okay.
It's been a little minute.
All right, no doubt. Well, listen, welcome, man. Thank y'all. I mean, y'all know how this go. You know what I'm saying? More than anybody. I want to get into y'all story a little bit. But I really want people to really be able to get I really want people to understand that, like, sure, I may be the face of this thing, but the team behind me and the team around me is the reason why we able to, make this thing be what it is and, continue to grow it to what it's going to continue to be. But I really want to be able to touch on what it is that y'all do great. But like, let's start at the beginning for both of y'all, man. Y'all both from this city, both from this area, different ages. I want to start with you first, Gabe. Reflecting, man, being in this city, when you can kind of just think back on your childhood, like what's some of the earliest memories that you can kind of just, reflect back on when you think about being a kid growing up here in this city?
Man, I was actually just talking to one of my good friends and talking about how we grew up in church. My mom raised us super saved and super sheltered.
No doubt.
So like going outside sometimes was like an adventure. Like, where we get to go outside and play by ourselves, play with neighborhood kids and all that. But we weren't like running through the city. We was like playing on our block, playing with the kids around us, going over aunties or grandma's house. But yeah, keeping it simple. She kept us inside the house.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Darrell?
Hey, man, since a kid, I've been in the same house since I've grown up.
Right.
I haven't done a lot of like walking around Akron. Mm-hmm. So when I got my license, I'd be just driving around. Just be like, bro, wow. it's really been here my whole life, and I ain't
Yeah.
never been down this one street or something, and it's just a whole new experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really starting to see now.
So
Like,
you
it's-
still really learning. You still figuring it out. You still
Definitely.
learning and taking in new stuff every day.
I ain't been nowhere.
Right.
I've been in Akron the whole time. bro.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But
Just
that, I mean,
growing.
that's cool. I mean, listen, we all are learning. You know what I'm saying? And taking in information. So I mean, where you are in this circle of life is technically no different. You may just be a little bit, you know what I'm saying, just starting out some new
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
But we all, you know, I'm figuring out shit, you know what I'm saying, today that I didn't know 6 days ago. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's all part of the process. Listen, man, we coming out of this, but we still were technically in the pandemic. But 2020, it was different. You know, it caught everybody off guard. And we able to reflect back a little bit of it now to kind of just see some of the impact and some of the, you know, ramifications of just like what the pandemic had done, and just kind of, you know, just some of the fallout. I know for me, I learned a hell of a lot about myself. You know, what did y'all two dudes kind of like learn about yourselves, man? You know, in the year 2020. Darrell, I'm gonna start with you. Being a young dude, what did you learn about yourself, young man?
Man, it really started off, it was just confusing because I was in school at that time.
In high school.
Yeah. Not going to school, bro, that was great for
Yo,
me.
nah, this is your senior year though.
Yeah.
Your junior year and your senior year, right?
Junior year, yep.
Okay.
I think it started in the middle of my junior year, so like not getting to go to school for the rest of the year, I was cool with that.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't in the school at all anyway. So
right.
not going to school was great, but not going to church every Sunday, that kind of changed it up a little bit, because I mean, I was still going to church, but not having that congregation there, especially as a drummer of the church, like you really rely on the congregation a lot to push the energy of the service.
Yeah.
And so not having them there, it was a little weird.
Yeah.
I had to adapt.
Yeah. What about you, Gabe?
In a weird way, I love the pandemic. I found out I really was a workaholic. I was ripping and running every social event, every normal, like if it was a gala or if it was a church service or if it was a revival service or something like that had to now be streamed, I'm there. And so I learned a whole lot of pieces of Akron, found a whole lot of new pieces of Cleveland that I'd never been to, ripping and running. I loved it. And it really, especially right before the pandemic, I was actually thinking about it the other day. That was like right when Kobe had passed. And so in my whole mindset going after that was like, no, we're gonna work. We're gonna work every day. We're gonna work hard, endlessly. Work Mamba mentality the whole way.
Right.
And when the pandemic happened, it was literally go time.
Right.
But what really shifted it was going into 2021.
Yeah.
And seeing when things really change, or when things came back and opened back up, like, are you still as a discipline? Are you still gonna go hard? Was it just ripping and running, or are you really about this work?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, even as y'all both speak about 2020, like sometimes, I mean, I can never really forget, but sometimes I forget about like even all the stuff that led up to pre-pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Kobe died literally maybe like a month before the world shut down.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that was traumatic in itself. And then next thing you know, the NBA shuts down. Then everything shuts down. We can't leave, crazy. You know. And then next thing you know, I had a kid, and it was just oh my God, it was just one thing after the another. And I know that, like, man, and again, we're still technically in the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So it's still so much of it going on. And Darrell, that's interesting that you even mentioned that, man. It's just like, you know, the community aspect that we missed out on. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I guess that, you know, was easy for us to kind of take for granted in a way. You know what I'm saying? And for you, somebody who is, like you said, pushing the energy of, you know, a bunch of different people, bro, that's a big switch up out of nowhere.
Man, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. You still had the praise team and stuff there and stuff, but bro, not being able to just walk out of the booth and see all your people there that you've been seeing every week, for the last how many so years of your life.
Right.
Bro, it was crazy.
Right.
And you don't miss Sundays. Bro.
Right.
Church is always open on a Sunday, bro.
Right.
We only miss like one Sunday in my life.
And that's what's crazy. Things that we never thought we would ever see. You know, church closed. You know what I'm saying? I can remember, you know, speaking to Pastor Dennis about that. Like, man, nobody ever thought that you would close church. Church is supposed to be your safe haven. That's supposed to be the place, you know, of refuge that people can go in the midst of global craziness going on. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the places where people could not congregate to. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, reflecting back and just hearing y'all speak on it, to me, it's like, dang, that did happen. Like, sometimes I forget because, you know, we just in the day-to-day of just moving around. You forget about, you know, the stuff that happened that you never really, you know, considered could happen. You know, and that's one of the craziest things, you know what I'm saying, with church closing. Man, who were some of y'all earliest influences, just as from like a creative standpoint, or just, you know, somebody who was doing something maybe in a non-traditional way? You know what I'm saying? They could have been doing it from a complete entrepreneurship level. It could have been somebody just doing something from a passionate standpoint. But somebody that y'all seen, and maybe even back then y'all didn't know that they were doing something different, but now y'all able to look back on it like, yo, that person was doing something completely different the whole time and I didn't even know.
I think from an entrepreneur standpoint, I gotta say my mom. She ran a tax business out of the house like as long as I was alive. Okay. And like we would have people in and out of the house all the time, meeting new people all the time. We just had to go to the room, play Hot Wheels, all of that. But when I started trying to figure out my business, I would always go back to her. Like, how did you figure it out? How did you file? How do I need to file taxes since you're a tax expert? How did you get connections? When you really didn't feel like it, how did you keep going? Stuff like that. But creatively, like oddly enough, a lot of musicians, things like people like Kanye West, like just a whole different level. Like I still, like music videos are wildly creative to me. Obviously making videos, but like for some reason, Love Lockdown video, Kendrick Lamar videos, Childish Gambino, sheesh, like people who are mad creative all the time and doing things in a whole different way. And I'll probably say even Childish Gambino too, going from writing to acting, music, video directing, starting his own show, mad creative.
How old are you, Gabe?
25.
So, but the reason I asked that is because, man, this is an interesting conversation because, like, you know, y'all came up where the internet was kind of was what it was. You know what I'm saying? So be influenced and have access to that much information is completely different. Like you naming you naming Childish Gambino, like you naming music videos. Like I remember being inspired by music videos, but like we had to be in front of the TV at a certain time of the day to catch a video, or you had to like tape a video, you know what I'm saying?
Which
where
is wild.
When you come up in the era where like you can just get on YouTube.
Yeah, and which I think it like helped our generation because now not only like can I just go watch whatever music video I want, I can like I was showing my dad, I was watching music videos with my dad of like Michael Jackson when he did. My dad put me on to like Remember the Time, all of that. We going through YouTube clips of like all old stuff, so I don't have just what's hot, right? What's out right now.
Right, you can go
I can
back.
watch. I can go watch Funkadelics or whatnot. I can watch Lil Baby right now. I can watch whatever I want, and I think that's the beauty of like today. Yeah,
that's good. That's good. I mean, that's what the internet is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a bridge the gap between, you know, you can have your hands at all this different information. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope. What about you, Darrell? Who was some of your creative, you know, inspirations?
Man, like Gabe said, I'm gonna have to say my parents because they've been at it for as long as I know them. Between like Amway stuff, they've been duplicating CDs for all different types of artists and stuff. Like literally making their CDs and printing them out on a little printer in our dining room and selling them. Like that's crazy. And so from them, I just got that entrepreneur mindset from them. And then going to STEM, that kind of set my brain up to really think of stuff differently, like think of a problem. Basically, I'm more working from the goal backwards than from the initial point. So my whole mindset then changed from that. And then around like I want to say 12, 13 something, I found Darrell Williams, bro. Started working with him, and he just taught me everything about live sound.
Yeah,
Like,
shout
I'm
out to
still
Darrell.
learning from him, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, them basically been my mentors.
Let me ask y'all this, man. Do y'all remember? Because I think that's super dope that y'all both said, you know, essentially, you know, at the house, you know what I'm saying, is where y'all got a lot of this information and a lot of this inspiration from. That was not technically, you know what I'm saying, my experience. You know what I'm saying? My mother, and even my stepfather and my father, like my grandparents, everybody worked, you know what I'm saying? They worked traditional jobs. And, you know, for me, it was go to school, get your education, and, you know, get you a job where you can work for X amount of years. That was my experience. Do y'all ever remember, like, intentional conversations of y'all parents telling y'all, hey, listen, this part is cool of, like, working, but this right here can help you sustain yourself. It can give you a different type of, like, peace of mind. Like, you know what I'm saying? These are the type of things that you really want to be able to do to really kind of have some ownership, you know, to really kind of have your own. Was it conversations like that, or did y'all just kind of see your people doing the best they could, and from there, y'all just picked up on what they did?
I definitely did. My pops would always had a conversation of like, hey, I work at Roadway. I gotta go. I have a 9 to 5. I gotta get off, and I hate everybody who had the job. Find something that don't feel like work. He always stressed that to us. Find what you love to do. Don't just look for a job just to make ends meet. If you find something you're passionate about, the money gonna come.
Right.
Like, but make sure you're passionate about it. So like when the work comes, it don't feel like work. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And you remember vividly having those type of conversations. He was on that.
He cut my hair every other Friday himself, and
giving you that game
every time. I was just like, all right, so how you doing today?
Yeah.
What are you up to? Like all of that, but always stressing like all of my kids need to find what they love to do. My oldest brother does choral music. My second oldest brother does theater. My sister sings, and I do video production. So like none of us have traditional stuff at all.
Yeah.
So he stressed that to us enough that we all went to performing arts high schools and liberal arts colleges, so that we would legitimately like do all the stuff that do whatever we wanted to
set
do.
up.
Like he set us up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Shout out pops. Shout out. What about for you, Darrell?
What was the question? One more time.
So, like, do you remember your people being intentional about having conversations with you about, yo, Darrell, you know, school is cool, but I know you see us over here doing this thing, we hustling, we trying to make our money doing stuff ourselves. You need to be finding out to doing something for yourself and having your own.
Yeah, I don't think my parents ever really had that conversation with me.
Okay.
Cause from like a young age, I always knew, like, from 8 years old, I knew that I started running sound at Mount Calvary from then. So, and then I was always playing drums and stuff. So I was like, I want to be a drummer at first.
Yeah.
So, but then I'm like, drummers really, I mean, it's great, but they don't make all the money for real. Like, if you really want to get paid and do all that stuff, like sound engineering is really where you can really make your money at and make a living off of it for real.
Yeah. So how did it start for you? How did your introduction with sound and music and everything start for you? How did that start? How did you pick up, you know what I'm saying, your first drum set? Like, how did you pick up your first instrument? How did that all happen?
So drums, my dad played bass. He played drums. He played a little bit of keys and stuff. And then he had a studio in his basement, so that's where I'm at right now. Man, he basically started it off and stuff, but then from there, I grown to, like, finding Mount Calvary. And after my family got there, I shout out to Fred. I was back there every Sunday, man. As soon as the preacher get up there, I'm back there running sound, just learning at 8 years old, 7 years old for real, back there learning.
So what made you want to learn that stuff? What do you think made you want to learn that stuff as opposed to saying like, all right, this cool, but I'm about to go play with my friends, I'm about to go rip and run, I'm about to, you know what I'm saying?
Man, my parents, my dad really, he was just always into that type of stuff.
Okay.
So when I'm growing up, I mean, I had a drum set already. It was my dad's drum set, but it was mine for real.
So it was almost just a matter of like, you know, you seen your dad had a love for it. I want to be like my dad a little bit.
For
like
real.
I'm gonna pick up, you know, I'm gonna do what he doing.
And the fact that I really at that age I started noticing that people really kind of don't have dads in their life, bro. And I really started appreciating having my dad. I mean, he was still working. He had a regular job. Then he'll come home and do his little entrepreneurship thing and stuff. But appreciating at least having one in my household that go to sleep in my house every night.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fire. That's fire. These young dudes talking to y'all right now, man. This ain't regular, you know what I'm saying, conversation. That's dope to hear. What about for you, Gabe? Like, how did the introduction be like for the camera happen to you? Because I know you end up going to college and stuff, but like, where was your initial introduction into like the camera and like, you know, understanding that like, oh snap, like this is like way tight and like I enjoy it. Like, how did that even, you know, happen for you?
What's weird is, so like I said, my brother sings, my other brother does theater, so he naturally had to sing. My sister sings. I'm the baby. Mm-hmm. I did not want to sing. I was like, I'm not doing that. Y'all don't need to hear my voice all like that. Right. So naturally, and I was just like a natural rebel around the house. Like I was the one who different, and so I just didn't want to do what everybody else was doing. So somehow I started like taking photos for the family, and I was the family photographer for a second, and like small stuff like that. Like I would and I was also like the person who understood like how to work a computer at like 4 years old, I guess, and like but just small stuff, like just small technical stuff, and then so on and so forth. Like when I was somewhere, like when I was right about to go to college, I was hanging out with Garrett Black, no relation ironically, and we just linked up just because our last name was Black, but he started doing photography and I'm like, well, this is cold. I remember when I was doing this like back in the day with just a little disposable, let me hop in, let me see what's going on. And so he legitimately put a camera in my hand just because he was like, hey, I gotta run over here, you take pictures of this real quick, so just handle that for me. Yeah, I do that, and the more I'm doing it, the more I like it. And then, ironically, I'm going to school for, at that time, was digital media. And so... In
college or in high school? Okay.
In college, I went to... It was like right before my freshman semester, my first semester. Okay. And then I go to school, and everything I learned with Garrick or everything I learned at Yeepaw that I did that summer, I ended up learning, and I was acing tests before I even knew it. Like, learning things about headroom, lead room, rule of thirds, like small stuff.
What is that, bro? You saying language I don't even know what that is. What is that, bro? Explain to me and explain to them what that is you talking about.
It's like, so headroom is like how much room is between the top of the frame and your head. Okay. Lead room is how much room is like in front of you. So if I'm looking at you, how much room is in front of me going to you and vice versa.
In an actual like camera shot or picture shot you refer to. Okay.
And that's and the rule of thirds is literally that. Okay. Of just looking at the frame. If you put it up like a tic-tac-toe board and like look at how you divide up the frame, how you get your composition, how you make shots look hard, like how what is appealing to the eye. Like everybody puts things like center frame, but if you put it like a little bit left or you put it a little bit right, or what does things mean when you go, I could talk like technical all day. Yeah. But like that stuff like was mad cool because it was like subconsciously, what do people gravitate to? What makes like these shots look cool in TV shows and movies? Like what looks hard? So learning all of that and learning small stuff at a time with Garrick or learning stuff like at Yeepaw was mad important. So when I went to Asheville first, Asheville University, and then I transferred to Ohio University. When I went to Ohio University, I was just learning theory and stuff, because I was really learning a whole lot more experience with when I went back home with Garrett. When I came back to Akron, doing gigs around the city, all of that. And I really learned like having a mentor was way more important than like learning, like sitting in the classroom, learning all that, learning things like the traditional way. Right. Having hands-on stuff, having somebody like show you things was way more important. Having a mentor, like what you said with Darrell Williams, having a mentor is so much more impactful and important than just doing things the traditional way, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, John Morgan. Listen, man, right now, as y'all can see, man, I got on the new Live Your Purpose podcast merch, man. It's going crazy right now. The T-shirts, I got the dad hats. People always hit me up. John, man, where can I get it? How can I grab your stuff? You got a website, you got a site. How can I grab it? I'm here to tell you, yes, we do have a site. All right, that site is www.lypp.org. O-R-G. Again, it's www.lypp.org. Go to that website right now, man. You can find you can find a link to the YouTube channel. You can find a link to the audio platform, but you also can find where you can shop and grab your merch right now. Again, man, check us out. We got the tees going crazy right now. The dad hats. Expect to see some new products on that site. Go right now, www.lypp.org. Again, man. A lot of y'all been hitting me up asking me about this link and this site. It's available. So do yourself a favor, go through, support, shop with your boy, spend some money with your boy. I know some of y'all still got that PPE money. Come spend some with your boy, man. Peace. Essentially, man, y'all talking about getting all this on the job training without technically being at the job. Y'all getting like real life experience that's sharpening y'all skill sets in your fields that y'all will soon, should begin to work at. But before that, and especially for you, Gabe, like, because again, man, it sounds like you picked up on this like right before you started going to school. What were your aspirations and like just dreams, I guess, even before going to school? Did you know?
I had no clue.
Yeah.
I had we used to make jokes like we had negative aspirations. Like we was just like, how are we gonna get money?
Right.
How are we gonna get? And not even like that. We was just like, how are we gonna like survive? Like just pay normal bills. Like because it was like nobody wanted to work a normal 9-to-5 job. Nobody wanted to work like just a desk job or something like that. We were mad creative. We just didn't know how we were gonna make money off of it. So we like at first I was like, I'm gonna work in radio. Then I was like, I could work in broadcast, like doing like TV stuff or like call switching and stuff like that, which I ended up doing. But it was just a matter of like, what can we really didn't know what we wanted to do, or I didn't know what I wanted to do. All my friends, like, we went in different directions, or some of us, like, we still link up or like that today, but nobody really knew what they wanted to do. But college didn't help more than when everybody like came together.
Right.
Like if we did something like the Black Heart Collective, when me and my friend Joe started, he made music, and I would like help him make videos off of the music. Or when I went to Yeepaw and like just doing stuff around, that was where I really found out like I really like making videos. And there's money behind this. Y'all gonna pay for this? Y'all gonna pay how much for some photos?
Yeah.
Say less.
Yeah. And so for you, Darrell, did you always know instantly, like, all right, I enjoy doing this and I can make money, I can make this a business? Like, did it always come like easy for you, or was it something that you kind of had to like work your way to understanding, like, oh no, not only do I enjoy this, I can make a nice living off of this?
It was pretty much always easy for me. Yeah, I say all the time, like, me and God got a special relationship because he just guided me since a young kid, and now I can look back and notice, like, wow, I've been knew what I was gonna do, and I'm now doing it great. Like in 4th grade, it was me and my boy Richard. It was this white boy named Richard. We used to be at Hope Academy setting up the sound system there for every event that they had there. So we've been doing that since 4th grade. And man, I remember that's when I noticed that school wasn't for me because man, I got bad grades one time, bro. And my music teacher said, bro, you can't go set it up. Like, she basically grabbed me out of there. I'm starting to set up everything.
And that was what you enjoyed to do.
She grabbed me out of there and took me back to class, and I had to sit here and do my work. I was like, never again, bro. I can't do this school stuff.
You wasn't going to let schoolwork impact something that you really enjoy to do.
Hey, man. And now I understand, like, I'm 4th grade, you need to get your schoolwork done. But man, I still needed to be set at that time.
But in that moment, it sounds like you knew that, like, all right, I can't let anything get in the way of, what I enjoy to do. You know what I'm saying? I can't let anything jeopardize that.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's powerful, man. And I think that's super powerful, you know what I'm saying, for a young guy like yourself to understand that, like, listen, I've had a special, connection, with God and with the Creator, you know what I'm saying, from a young age. Because here's my thing to that, man. I honestly believe that all of us do. I just think that in life, especially for us as black folks and black men specifically, a lot of times, man, we have traumatic experiences and come in traumatic environments where it deters our mind away from, having this relationship, with God. Because we all deserve some of the same things, you know what I'm saying? But I think that that's super powerful that you able to like tap into that and know that. Was there any time that, like, maybe outside influences, maybe that was friends, maybe it was family, maybe if it was just, your own self-doubt crept in where y'all was like, all right, maybe I need to be doing something else, or like, you know, somebody was trying to push y'all to do something else. Maybe you guys may have had some talent in another realm, but somebody was like, yeah, that's cool, but do this over here. Did y'all ever experience any of that?
When I got to STEM, that's when I had my first like big change, because I'm going from Hope Academy to a whole new school at 5th grade, and I'm walking in here like, bro, I don't know nothing about this school, bro. And like at that age, you just start to get in where you fit in for real, and just start figuring out like how to like work with people and stuff.
Yeah.
And how to get along with people and stuff. But man, it was tough.
What about for you, Gabe? Was there ever any moment, man, where like you may have some outside influences that were just trying to like, you know, deter you away from what you was on the verge of doing?
I can't say so. I will say, in a very weird way, I think my parents. Not because of like anything negative. They wanted to, do what was right for me. Go to college, stick it out, get your degree, all of that. But I dropped out twice. Like I was not.
Don't feel bad, bro. I dropped out 2 or 3 times my damn self. Don't feel bad. Yeah, don't feel bad.
That's why, like, even listening to Darrell, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Like when you was like, I know college ain't gonna work for me. I knew for a fact, like out the gate, right before I started college, my parents were like, "Hey, college or military? What you want to do?" And I was like,
you know what's so crazy, man? For me, again, I came up playing sports, you know what I'm saying, my entire life. And I always thought that like sports was going to be my ticket of like, you know, making it out or doing something, you know, where I would enjoy to do, you know, had a passion behind doing it. And it was something that I wouldn't mind being able to do. But I quickly learned in high school that like there's only a select few people that get a chance to go like high D1, you know what I'm saying, in sports. And then I quickly realized and understood that like, all right, if you gonna go D1, then the money automatically changes as far as like, you know, people paying for you to be able to go to school. So when that reality hit, and I had to take a lot of my own personal responsibility and accountability, I didn't really seek out ways of being able to like, you know, go to school. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I was sending off my tapes and things like that to schools and stuff like that. So when the time came and I knew that I wasn't gonna be playing sports in college, I think that I was afraid of, matter of fact, I know that I was afraid to just say, man, I'm going to figure it out, or I'm going to just like go this other route, you know what I'm saying, and just try to like, you know, bet on myself type of thing. I was too afraid to do that. So I ended up going to school because I knew in my heart of hearts, all right, I've been going to school for a long time. I can take some tests, pass some tests, give me a degree, and get a job. You know what I'm saying? I can do that.
Straight.
But quickly I learned, bruh, it's way too much freedom. It's way too much freedom.
You can really do whatever you want.
Whatever.
Man, what?
And then you can make money doing anything.
Yes.
But then at the same time, you're there. I always felt like I had a pointless degree, or I was going after a pointless degree, only because everything I saw, everything I was doing was on YouTube. All of the, how do you edit? How do you, what's a good photographer? What's a bad photographer? How do you do this or that? Was all on YouTube. So I'm sitting in class. I'll never forget it. The first time my first class I got to OU, my professor looked at all of us and was like, "Congratulations, y'all all convinced y'all parents on getting a pointless degree." And we busted out laughing, but we was like, "You real? You for real?" Because like we didn't need to be there, and so now we stacking up debt over time. Over a degree that I felt like I could have just done, again, like around the city, getting experience. Every time I went back to Akron, I'm making money. Every time I'm in OU, I'm just trying to survive. What
was you doing when you was coming home to make money?
Gigs, photography gigs, video gigs. If Garrick had a gig, he would just pull me along. If it was nothing but like, hey, hold this poster board next to this light, and hold this light next to this model.
It seemed the reason I asked that is because it seems like college would be like the perfect place to be able to like do that type of stuff.
You would think, and it low key is, but like the clientele is different. So like if it was like here in a professional setting, it's like if I'm doing something for the Akron Urban League or a professional organization, they'll pay X amount of dollars. Versus a college kid, I was like, a photo session gonna be like $100, and that's a whole nother conversation.
Right.
So that was like a whole different thing of like, do I like?
Not to mention trying to buy your own supplies, your own cameras, and all that type of stuff.
I actually want to buy some clothes.
Right.
Like I'm trying to buy new clothes just to go out.
Right.
But I gotta, in order to do that, I gotta stay working at this desk job that I hated.
Yeah.
So all of that, like the whole college experience for me was like, it was fun. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, but it was like trying to convince my parents of like, hey, if I drop out, I could probably make back that money or invest in myself.
Yeah.
All of that, but not like they deterred me or like they weren't looking out for me, because I think they absolutely was. They wanted me to finish the degree for X amount of reasons, but that was the only thing that like I felt like took a little bit longer, was trying to figure out to finish the college thing.
Yeah, for sure, man. Darrell, man, you mentioned a couple different times, man, sitting here talking. You mentioned STEM. I know what STEM is. Mm-hmm. Explain to people, number one, what STEM is, and explain like your experience there, and like why do you feel like you benefited from being at STEM?
So NIFSTEM is the National Inventors Hall of Fame School of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. Mm-hmm. That's the full name. Mm-hmm. So
he broke that down.
Hey, because that school is really a Hall of Fame for real. Like it's a whole section just for inventors, and it's a bunch of inventor pictures around there and what they built and their inventions in that room. And that room
right here in the city of Akron too, mind y'all.
Hey,
right here in the middle of the city.
Because that whole building is crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, the inside of it is huge.
Yeah.
Like the Great Hall, that's where you meet up every morning. You go down there and they have a big meeting with every kid in the school and everybody down there, and they just get everybody on the same page for the day. And as you go go up in the grades and stuff, you start getting in your engineering classes and stuff. And that was my favorite class. I had my coach Pringle. That's what his name was. Man, he taught me everything about like mechanical engineering and stuff. And that's what I really wanted to do coming out of middle school. I wanted to be a mechanical engineer. And I still am very good with my hands. I build stuff all the time, but I'm a sound engineer now.
Yeah. Man, what do you feel like you benefited from after you spent your 4 years there? Looking back on it now, like what's some of the best things that you learned? You touched on one earlier, which was problem solving, which I know to be 100% true, and as far as like that translating to everyday life. But just expound on those things. Like what are the things that you benefited from being in that school?
They really taught you like the scientific method. That's what they taught you.
Okay.
So basically how to think like a scientist, mm-hmm. and how to think like an engineer and stuff, and how to basically plan, like expect to fail, basically put mm-hmm. that in your plans to fail. And you kind of like after you nowadays you put that plan together and you can see where you're gonna fail at before you even start to do the beginning process. And so that helps your whole process, your problem solving stuff.
So what does that do when you know going into something you know you're gonna fail?
It just allow you to plan better, and you plan for it, and you ready for it basically. And
it like takes away your fear of failing.
It's
right?
A freedom,
right? It frees you before you can even, you know what I'm saying, before you even go through the process.
And when you get in there and you going through this process, and you end up at that point where you would have failed, and you like, hold up, I got something for this. You already ready.
How many black kids was in that school?
Man, it was actually a decent amount though.
Okay.
Yeah, it was about even.
Okay.
Because it was a random lottery that get you into school. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how they picked it, if mm-hmm. it was two different bows, but mm-hmm. it was an even amount. It was a nice little group of people that you could find.
And see, those are the type of skills that, you know, in my opinion, that should be in every type of school. Like, you know, I mean, for real, I believe that the public school system curriculum as we know it today should be thrown away completely. And it all should be STEM, like everywhere, you know what I'm saying? And mm-hmm. that's the type of skill sets that's going to translate to people being able to, you know, have their own ownership, you know, build their own equity, really be able to have a skill set to make their own money. And you are laying the foundation of like emotional and mental intelligence, because again, man, when you are free about making decisions before you even make the decisions, you won't have no fear. You know what I'm saying? You're not letting other outside things get in the way of your decision making that's stopping you from like taking a risk. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I hear you saying. You know, and that's super, super powerful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Talk about the Tell me, you told me a story one time. I want you to tell it right here, bro, because it's bonkers. It's crazy. Tell the story about how you and your friend, y'all was in like a competition where like y'all did something. Y'all did like a car filter or something, right?
Yeah,
I don't even want to butcher the story, but just tell the story about what happened, bro, and like what you did.
So this was freshman year in high school, bro.
So about 14.
So me and my best friend Jordan, he basically, my science teacher was telling us about science fair. We ain't had no plans of doing it before this. So he was just sitting there in the class and he was like, hey bro, I had this idea for a car exhaust filter. So it was really his idea. And I'm like, bro, we sitting in STEM, you sitting here telling me all the plans and how to design it and stuff. And I'm like, we can go across the hall and build it right now. So we went over there and I mean, every recess I was in there just tinkering and just working on it, how to get a good design and stuff. So basically what it is it's a car exhaust filter that you put on the back of your car, and it just takes the exhaust, goes through this filter, and pump it right back out. It gets all the particulates and stuff out, and the carbon dioxide and stuff, and monoxide and stuff. You get all that out of there in this filter, and it was genius, for real.
Y'all built this in the school.
Hey, in the school, yeah. Went to
I told
science
y'all,
fair.
this dude be saying stuff that's not
saying,
normal,
bro.
man. This is not normal stuff this guy is saying, man. This is wild.
He said, I skipped recess. I was just
For
trying
real.
to chill.
I'm just tinkering
playing
around.
Yeah, I'm just tinkering.
Man, and so we took this to science fair, bro, and was killing them. I mean, at first it was a lot of BS. I ain't gonna cap, but we was really we was some real BSers for real. Hey, and that's a skill to have.
Yeah,
because you can sit in this room with a bunch of people that really know what they talking about and really hold your ground and sit here and I don't know a lot about it, but I can make you think that I know a lot about this topic. And hey, we was killing it for real. Looking stuff up on site, like right before the judge walk up, we still looking up the last little bit, getting some big words, particulates, carbon monoxide and stuff. That's all it was, bro.
That's fire, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. It's different, bro. This guy different, man. This is not regular stuff, man. But that's fire, man. That's so hard. Is it did anybody, because even though you gained a lot of these skill sets from this school, you ultimately, continue to like pursue your love and like sound engineering and like, really stand in the lane of like music. Did anybody ever try to tell you like, Darrell, I know you love your music, I know you love the sound, but bruh, you can like make millions of dollars if you stay focusing on this like mechanical engineering and like continue to invent different things?
Yeah, I don't think so, bro. I don't think I remember that, but I remember that because as soon as I started playing drums and running sound and stuff, I mean, I kind of started making money right off the bat. So as a 14, 15-year-old making money, I mean, that's all your goals right there.
Right.
So, bro, I mean, it just made it easy.
And speaking after working with Darrell for however many months, he ain't going nowhere.
Right.
He's staying on that soundboard.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, that's why I grabbed him up early. That's why, when we start working together, man, I'm like, when we would just have conversations, I'm like, man, this guy is different, man. This is just not some regular stuff, man. So I applaud you for that. You know what I'm saying? And having your mind, made up on what works for you, and like, staying true to you. You know what I'm saying? Those are powerful foundational skills, man, that a lot of people struggle with, as adults, let alone as a teenager, being able to settle into. So, could continue to have that. Gabe, man, kind of going the traditional route and like going to a 4-year school like OU, and OU one of the biggest party schools in the country for those who know. Like, how did that experience shape you, you know what I'm saying, into like who you are today? Because I know you went through like some evolution and just like, just a lot of change, and it's just like you took in a lot of information from being at that campus where you're like, oh no, my consciousness is now, beginning to like change. What was your experience of being there? But it ultimately, I'm sure in a way, it assisted you to continue to like pursue who you are and continue to doing your thing on the video side?
So I got a lot from like the classes, going to classes, doing the assignments. They forced you to be mad creative. They forced you to know how to understand what you're creating and why you're creating it. But I really got the most from the people who was there. People like my roommate. My roommate Joe was like mad creative all the time. Like he made beats. He was out for a mission to make a beat a day, and it was hard. Like it wasn't like just the average. It was really good. But just the connections we had, like any of his friends that made music, any of my friends that did video, like we all bounced off of each other. We all vibe with each other. We made things. We made a whole lot of stuff together. So the environment was very important, like way more important than the classes. And no matter what we were talking about, whether it was music or TV shows or politics or whatever, religion, like we talked about every conversation, like everything. And we always argued. We always laughed. We always we were tight. All of that. So I think it was really just the environment, and then people who I would never come in contact with if I stayed in Akron, or if honestly, I don't think I would come in contact with those type of people if I went anywhere else. It was a very unique. Athens is a very unique and a special place. It is. Like, every type of person was there, and then like all the connections that we made, everybody who we knew, like it was mad special. Just understanding people, I guess. Yeah. Understanding how people think and how people work, what makes people tick, stuff like that.
So what's your overall outlook on going to college now? Like how do you see that?
I would never say somebody needs to go to college. I would never say that. I think depending on your profession, if you're a doctor, lawyer,
correct,
bioengineer, something like that, correct, go, because that's how you get your experience. That's how you get your knowledge. But if it was somebody, if you don't know, I would definitely say take some time, figure it out, all of that. But also, I definitely think somebody even on the podcast before they said it, having a mentor was so major, was way more major than like any class I ever sat in. The environment of people I was around, find a community, that's way more impactful than any class. Even in the class, it was like, if you just pull up to class and you just sit here and like take tests and leave, you could learn everything. It's going to be pointless.
Right.
Because especially a part of being a creative, like you got to create. Right. And the only way you're going to really like, the way you're going to create to the highest level is like bouncing stuff off of somebody. I could think I had the best idea in the world. Right. But then Darrell like, but what if you do it like this?
Right.
And then you come through and you're like, well, why would you do it like that? Why don't you do it like this?
Yeah.
That collaboration is very important. So a community and a mentor to shape raw creativity, raw talent, mad important.
Yeah.
A community to argue with and vibe with is very important.
Yeah. So was it a process for you to find out that you really love editing the most? Like, what was that process like for you?
Nah, I was weird. Like, so I. Like I said,
what I grew up. Man?
I grew up in a very sheltered household. You know, really churchy. Like, hey, y'all, we're gonna control what y'all see when y'all go out. All of that. My mom had a very strong hand on stuff like that. Yeah. So like, I grew up in front of a TV. I grew up in front of a computer. So when I just had spare time, I would just like, I would find like a music track that I like, put some pictures over it, and like tell a story with that. And then I oddly liked that. And it was a whole lot of fun. I would take pictures around the house, and I was like, how do I make this flower in front of me look cool? Like stupid stuff like that. And the more I did that, like the more I sat behind a computer and I was like learning like what people on the computer like in the days of Reddit and when Facebook was getting off, and like I kind of missed the MySpace era, but like around that time, like, you know, like when the internet was really going, like all of that was me understanding like how do I make things for people, how do I make things that people like, and how do I find out what people like, and what do people like, stuff like that. And then editing was just a natural.
This question is for both of y'all, but what's the hardest part about, you know, working in each one of y'all spaces? What's the most difficult, the most trying part in both of the spaces for y'all?
I think he just said it. It's really figuring out what a regular person that just pulled up and watched this video, what they gonna hear, what they gonna see first, what's gonna keep their attention on this, because a phone is very easy to get distracted from. When that message pop up, you can be gone. And that's a viewer. I mean, stuff like that.
How do you make it engaging past that text message? How do you, like, if somebody's just like, man, I like one single angle, and it's like, that's it? Because we've gone back and forth about like, man, we could do this, we could do that, we could throw this effect in there, we could throw that effect in there, and then somebody will look at us like, y'all doing a lot. Like, chill out. Like, what is the average person gonna like? But how do we still put a little spice on, a little flavor on it, make sure that it's still look and sound good?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. And that's a tough place to be as a creator. You know what I'm saying? Because you constantly being mindful of what the viewer's experience is in the midst of your creation.
That's thinking back to like what I said, thinking of your failures before you even get there. You got to think about how they gonna feel about it before you even get that feedback. I mean, first episode you got to be like out here, because they got to come back for that second one.
Right. And I mean, you know, that's the essence of, you know, business. That's the essence of, you know, supply and demand. You know, I may have something, I may have a lot of it, but why would somebody want to come back and, you know, pay attention to me?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially in this era that we in today, where content is at an all-time high, podcasts are at an all-time high. We still in the midst of the pandemic, so people have to find non-traditional ways to make shit work. So, you know, that's a constant battle, man. You know, I know even for myself, that is part of the process for me, that I'm learning to, like, all right, to not take so personally, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Which is that, like, you know, that's part of my job, you know, in a way, is to, like, make this engaging in a way that people are going to want to hear it, digest it, but keep coming back.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a part of the process where, you know, it can be difficult though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For sure.
And I think for me, I always relate everything. Somehow I always talk in analogies because it's the only thing that makes sense. But I love basketball, and when I think about, like, when people say, like, hey, I don't get paid to hoop. I get paid to talk in front of the media.
Right.
I get paid to have to come to these workouts. Right. I get paid to have to talk to y'all, you know, all that stuff. And so the hard part for me is, like, the parts that editing is unnatural. Shooting something, I'm cool. The hard part is, like, the business side, like dealing with people. Like when somebody really come up and like, hey, I don't, like, I'm not even going, but, like, it's the contact of, like, how do I explain to you the business side of, like, what is the worth of what I'm doing, or what is the value of what I'm doing, or what am I doing, how is that valuing to you? Yeah. But all of that is that side of, like, I'm not a people person. The people part is the hard part for me. That's that, like, if it's my team, if it's us, we could vibe, we could just talk. But when somebody else, when it's like somebody, the hard part is, like if somebody tell you how to do your job, painful.
Right.
Painful.
Right. Somebody who don't have no idea how to do it. That's what you talking about, or you talking about somebody who know how to do it?
Duh.
Yeah.
Duh. But yeah, I think if I was a better people person, or organization, communication, we talk about that all the time. Dealing with people in every aspect is the part of that is my talking to the media. That is my going to the gym. That's the part that I got to get better at, because that's hard.
Yeah. Listen, let me ask y'all this, man. Both of y'all. Why have y'all taken to being a part of just like the LYP team? You know, the way y'all have, and like, why is it important to y'all? Why does it resonate with y'all to, you know, that y'all wanted to be a part of this? Because, you know, listen, we talking about y'all doing y'all own things as individuals. Y'all both got y'all own stuff going outside of this, you know, so this is technically could be considered to be extra, you know what I'm saying? But why have y'all considered to take it on and stay consistent and, you know, want to be, you know, essential parts and, you know, taking on taking on this part and like actually want to see it grow? Both of y'all.
So when I first started with the podcast and stuff, it was at the very beginning.
Day one, bro. Day one.
So
longest standing
I was
right
just
here,
starting
man.
off my studio and stuff. I mean, gear was at the bottom level. I mean, it was just a build from there. And so when I first got started, I'm like, I really want to get into the studio thing because I'm really about to graduate and I don't really know what I'm about to do afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, stuff really fell into place. Like, that's why thanks to God, because stuff really fell into place after I graduated, and I knew it was. And so when I'm working through this and trying to get this podcast stuff started up, my studio started up, I really noticed that I don't like tracking, basically. Hitting record and sitting back. It's so much stuff that has to be right, and you have to be completely ready before you start.
Yep.
And if you start and you're not ready, you gotta either restart or it's cut.
Right.
Yeah, and it was a lot of just trial and error and stuff, but it was fun, bro.
So it sounds like for you, Darrell, there were parts that you knew that you had to like work on for yourself that you knew was going to translate in other places.
Exactly.
And this was like a forced reflection of like, man, this is going to help me get better.
I learned so much, bro.
Right.
I learned so much. Now I'm at service every Sunday, hitting record.
Right. Knowing
if
what
that
you're doing.
don't record, bro, then you cut.
Right.
You don't got the whole service.
Right. That's
Man.
dope. What about for you, Gabe?
So I jumped. I don't know how late I jumped on the team, or if I was the last one or not. But I do remember the first conversation we had, and it was just about podcasts in general.
Bro, it might have been a year ago. It might have been maybe last October.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, it might have been like,
Now I think about it.
I'm coming up on my year.
Yeah.
But all we did was talk about podcasts at first. You telling me what it was about and all that. But when the connection was, okay, he really about this.
Yeah.
We talked about Joe Rogan, Brilliant Idiots, Flagrant, which is my favorites.
Right.
And we went all through a bunch of other ones.
Yep.
All podcasts that we both enjoyed. We was talking about podcasts right before we started.
Yep.
But that was, not only was that important to know, okay, he's really in the space, he really enjoys this. This is a medium that he takes seriously. But also the purpose behind this, literally the definition, the purpose. Helping other people find their purpose is very important. I don't like to put my time and effort into like things that are just going to be like, hey, we could launch this and this could be up and maybe some people watch, maybe it won't. But what's the bigger goal behind this? Is this just a video, or is this going to help somebody? This being a part of people's lives, helping people, very important to me. And also it lined up with my purpose. Like you said, when I told you, like, if all I could do was edit, sit behind a computer and nerd out for a second, I would. Right. And so when it lined up with everything I already had going on, it was so easy to not only attach to it, but meeting everybody else who's on the team, it was a natural connection that was like, oh, this is a squad.
Yeah,
like we could do some damage, but really, really help people. So that was the purpose lining up with the bigger thing, with my purpose, with everything, with podcasting, with everything connecting like that. It was a no-brainer. So it was like, if this is important, why not be attached to it?
Right. Fire, man. Well, listen, man. Thank y'all to both of you. I appreciate y'all. I don't take y'all for granted. And like I said, man, since y'all have, Darrell, you've been rolling with me since the beginning, man. And just to kind of see all of this equipment just evolve into being what it is, man. Seeing the mics to what it is, seeing the lights and seeing the box, the audio box to growing what it is, bruh. It's a testament to the work that we've been riding. So I appreciate you, Gabe. I knew immediately, you know what I'm saying, and seeing, how much of a difference and how much, improvement adding you to the team were, man, because I knew that was a part of what we were doing that was lacking. I knew that the visual experience was a piece that, like, I was just taking a hit on because we were just in the building stages. And I knew that in order to grow, that was something that we were going to have to really make a real focus on and do it with somebody who actually enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? Because I had cats edit my videos, paid them a couple $100 before, and then, we get the work done. but the quality dropped because you can tell when people are doing stuff that they don't give a damn about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I knew when it connected for me, when, you know, I knew that you cared and I knew that you had the skill set to do it. Then, you know, the responses that we've been getting has been crazy, you know what I'm saying, from an aesthetic standpoint.
That, but also shouts to you for not only taking a vision and taking a step, but also you had to learn all of this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's not, like, this...
All of it.
In
Bro,
the
this is
time
no
span,
joke, bro.
it's not easy.
Yeah.
So, like, I've had to work with people who, like, if they had their own setups, like, I just, like, hey, I'm going to get you set up. I'm going to see how it goes. You actually took it, ran with it, like, really made you were disciplined in learning this craft and, like, taking it to another step on your own before I had to do anything. You shoot all of these yourself, so, and the brand in general, everything from the pop-up, everything from the merch, like, the whole thing is taking a step. So shout out to you for that. Just
Hey, thank you, good brother. I
You doing it for real,
appreciate
bro.
you.
Back,
Thank
feel
you,
me?
man.
Hey.
Thank you, man. I'm gonna receive my affirmation today. You feel me? I'm a word of affirmation type of guy, so I'm gonna receive them affirmations today. You feel me? Yeah. Thank you, brother. I received that. But yeah, man. Thank y'all, man, for coming on, man. Listen, we gonna keep this thing rolling. For those who do not know, man, these are some of the brain parts behind the LYP brand. Do not try to come in here and take my guys, man, because I'm not going for it. But no, before we get out of here, man, I'm gonna hit y'all with some rapid questions and all of that. And you know, we'll get on out of here, man. Enjoy the rest of our day. For both of y'all, what are some of y'all intentions? I think we might have like 98 days left in the year 2021, which is bonkers to even think about. We coming up on 22, a new year coming up real soon. What are y'all intentions for closing out the year? What do y'all want to really be intentional about, like focused on in closing out this year?
I definitely want to, one, take care of myself, my mental and my physical body, and two, be better organized and communicate better. Anybody who knows me, I struggle with both of those things. Again, trying to figure out how to be a better people person, even on my part. So that's my number. I want to figure that out before the end of the year.
Okay, dope.
Hey, man. I really want to get this church. Hey, if we can get the church together and ready for next year,
because it's gonna shake, bro.
Hey, the church is really about to shake. Yeah. I mean, it's really about to go crazy.
Y'all doing y'all thing,
and it's not stopping.
Yeah,
like, bro, it's crazy. Like, that's my main goal, and I ain't never really had issues with like my mental and stuff. Like, I've always been a clear-minded guy, cause I don't like talk a lot and stuff, and I'm usually in my head thinking and just visually watching everybody and stuff. I'm a very
you don't mind being with yourself.
Yeah,
that's good.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's good. What would y'all consider to be each one of y'all purpose?
Helping people. Bottom line.
It's a good one. I don't know why I ain't expect this.
You know, you hear these questions every trip, Darrell.
Dang, cause I didn't have so many of them. Like, then it changed.
That's good.
So
that's good.
Like, if I had to pick one purpose out of all of them, it's just the least amount of distractions. Basically, I don't know exactly how to put it, but just to give the message as clear as possible. Basically, that's all.
That's good. That's strong, man. Yeah, that's very, very, very strong. What's something about y'all that people would be surprised to know?
Dang. Okay. Okay.
Man, if anybody know these questions is coming, it's y'all two.
I was about to say, I should have. How are we not prepared for this?
All right, bro.
I was expecting the "How you doing today" question or something.
I'm a full blown engineer for real. Like, bro, I've been doing this. Like, my whole studio is just built with my two hands, and I really like to do it by myself. Like, people had told me before, like, just ask for help and I'll help you. I was like, I thought about you, but I was like, I could really do this by myself.
Right.
I think so. Only people who are mad close to me know. Like, I study comedy. I love laughing. I gotta laugh.
Okay.
But if I could, I would be a stand-up.
Oh, yeah?
I would try it.
That's hard.
If we was in a city that did stand-up, I would try it.
That's hard.
I'd do a little 5 minutes.
We got the what's the name of the spot in the falls? Dang.
There's another one like almost kind of downtown, but I'm not doing that.
I can't think, but okay, that's what's up, man. That's all right.
I love comedy.
Yeah,
We
now
might
that
see it. Gabriel Black, you know what I'm saying? Comedy special one day. That's
that'd be
hard.
hilarious,
Okay,
bro.
all right. Well, that's what's up.
Man.
What scares you?
Dang, how are we not ready for this?
I don't know, man.
Question every time.
What scares you? Not being at peace. Terrifying. Anything that would normally scare me, like it could be whatever, but the root of it probably, the common denominator, the root of it would probably be because it takes me out of my peace. I got to be at peace. If not, I ain't
Right.
for it.
Right.
Man. So ever since like I think 2 or 3 years ago at Yeepaw, Kim Porter, she said this scripture, and I remember I like almost live by this now. It's like, what is it? God has not given me the spirit of fear, but a power of love and a sound mind. Like anything I ever get scared about, it's just be like, God got me. Like it's a shield in front of me, and he can't nothing touch me. And so I mean, I got fears, but what scares me the most, I don't know.
So maybe what scares you the most could be not living by your faith.
Hey, that would
terrifying.
Losing my faith.
Right.
That yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. What's your favorite quote? What you just said?
Yeah. That one.
I bounce around. Like you could catch me at a random day. I live by like quotes. There's so many. I don't. Scriptures or random quotes. I don't know.
Give us one.
People's criticism is normally their autobiography. So like, anytime I've never cared if people said whatever, but normally it's more of a reflection of them than it is of me.
People are always projecting, bro.
Yep.
Always. What's the best advice y'all ever received?
The one from my pops: just do what you love. Money will come. Just do what you love.
Best advice I ever received. Man, that's a good one. Man, every time somebody see me doing what I'm doing, and like they always telling me to just keep doing that, bro. Keep it up, cause I always been doing what I seen is like my thing to do, and so everybody always told me to just keep it up, bro. Yeah.
Good. If y'all both so young, man, it don't even matter. Like
I ain't lived a lot of life.
You know what? We ain't even gonna worry about that one, man, because y'all still got a whole lot of life to live, man.
20-year-old self.
Yeah, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna talk to myself when I was 5.
Yeah, man. It don't. You know what I'm saying? Nah,
clean the drool up, bro. Come on, man.
I'm saying, man. You know, it's all good, man. It's good to have youthful. You know what I'm saying? Youthful energy in here, man. So listen, man. Thank y'all. You know what I'm saying, for coming, man. I really appreciate that. As y'all both know, one of the ways that we end the podcast is by lobbying for our next special guest to come on. The next person who we want to try to get on is Mr. Charlemagne the Guy himself. For those who know, Charlemagne is a media radio personality, but Charlemagne is also like a huge deal in the podcast space. But I have an appreciation for Charlemagne for his public display of his willingness to want to evolve. Like he has taken on this role as like this mental health advocate. And I could tell from afar that he's really doing his own work. And I can appreciate that. Does he have his own hang-ups and his fuck-ups? Absolutely, of course. You know what I'm saying? For sure. But when you in the public as much as he has been over the last 10 to 15 years, it's part of the game. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I can look past those things. Again, I appreciate a lot of the work that he's doing. So if y'all can, both one at a time, look in this camera right here and tell Mr. Charlemagne the Guy why he should be a guest on the Live Your Purpose podcast.
Yo, Charlemagne, I rock with the Brilliant Idiots from day one. I listen to the Breakfast Club. Everything that you about, your purpose will line up with this purpose. Might as well come on the Live Your Purpose podcast. It is everything between righteous and ratchet. Everything, all the jokes, all the sincere, all the mental health, everything that you already talk about. You might as well pull up, share your purpose with everybody else's, just go ahead. It already aligns. It's already aligned.
Say less.
Oh yeah, Charlemagne, bro, come out here, bro, and just learn something from John, bro, and have a conversation.
Hey, you know what? Bring Andrew Schultz with you too.
We'll do that. We'll do that with Schultze too. You know what I'm saying? We'll do it with whoever. That'll be hard.
Yeah.
Listen, man. Again, man. Go to the YouTube channel right now. Subscribe. Be a subscriber. Support the show. Watch us continue to grow. Go to the website www.lypp.org to purchase your merch, and keep looking out for more events coming, man. We got some good stuff planned for this upcoming winter. New merch is on the way. Be a lookout for this episode. We working, man. Standing building. LYP. No life. Yes, sir. Let's go. Peace.
Peace.